So if you try to solve the problem by tinkering with the process, it doesn't help. As my policy became, reverse the process. Because if you're going this way and it's the wrong path, you don't continue on the path, you go someplace else. So I reverse that. Whatever they do, I do the opposite to get out of it. It's a very simple rule. So following rules and still having problems, you always have a question. Maybe your rules are wrong. People are happy to jump at finding fault with the people. Say, oh, this is their fault. Absolutely wrong. It's a fault in the way you design things. It's a design fault. And this is the word I'll be using again and again, design fault. The whole thing that we do around us, lots of design fault. And banking is one. Tremendously faulty design. But we carry on as if nothing happened. Despite all our work for 40 years, you think banking system has changed? No way. They carry on their business. One of the things people tell me, and this became another struggle for me, okay, you lend money to poor women, that's fine. But you have to look for entrepreneurial poor. Because you are giving money to start a business. That's what we do. So in order to find people, entrepreneurial people, you have to look for men, because women are not entrepreneurs. So you're on the wrong path. I said, it's working for me, I have no problem. No, you can't do that, it will collapse. I said, I'll wait until it collapses. Until it collapses, I'll continue, because it's okay. It didn't collapse at all. It flourished. We continue our journey with women. We never had any doubt about it. Why did I get involved with the women? Who told me to do it with women? Again, just the conventional banks. One of the major issues that I was raising with the authorities or the governments and the Central Bank of Bangladesh, I said the banks are wrong because it denies financial services to the poor. Not only it denies financial services to the poor, it denies financial services to women. No matter if she is even the richest woman, bank will not lend money. Banks' rules are very funny. If a woman comes with a beautiful project, she has money and all, bank manager will look through the proposal and always ask, have you discussed with your husband? And if she says, yes, I have discussed with my husband. Okay. Is he okay with it? Does he like it? He says, yeah, of course he likes it. Then the manager will say, why didn't you bring your husband next Monday? We'll talk about it. So I raised the question with the bankers. Has it ever happened in the history of Bangladeshi banking? The man brought his proposal, and the manager is looking and asking, have you discussed it with your wife? Why didn't you bring your wife next Monday so we can discuss? I said, it doesn't happen. I said, that's where you went wrong. You are treating them differently. So when I began, I wanted to make sure, absolutely sure, I do not go that path. So I decided right on day one, half the borrowers in my program must be women. And that was the beginning. And it was extremely difficult to get to women. When we talk to the poor women, we will give you money, you can start some business. No, don't give the money to me. Give it to my husband. I said, no, we are not going to give it to your husband. I'm going to give it to you. If your husband needs it, he can negotiate with the bank. But here we talk about it. He said, no, I don't know anything. I never handle money. Some will even say, I never touched money in my life. I don't want to create problem in my family. So that was the beginning. The students, I was always working with my students. They are the ones who are going around doing things. So the girl students will work with the women. They said, maybe we should forget about the women part, concentrate on men. I said, no. We have to make sure we go to them and make it happen. So they don't want it. I said, no. When the woman says, I don't need the money, I don't want to take the money, always remember, this is not her voice. It is the voice of the history which made her. The history is all wrong for her. Ever since she was born, she was told it was a wrong thing to happen. It should have been a boy instead of a girl. And that is the beginning of her life. And the family, in every occasion, remind her that what a misfortune that you are a girl. So she grew up in a process of rejection. And she stays away from everything. She doesn't want to disrupt the way the world moves. She becomes a non-existent person. So now you are going with the money and so on. Do you think they will jump at the money? No way. What we have to do, we have to peel off all the fears that the history has put around her. Layer by layer. Don't give up. Someday, if we are successful, one or two of them will say, oh my God, maybe I should try. And that will be the beginning of our work. It took us 6 years to make it happen. And then we saw money going to the family through women brought so much more benefit to the family than money going to the family through men. So we changed the whole thing. We focused on women. As a result, it is basically a women's bank. And the idea of microcredit has spread in many other countries. And it came to Karnataka. So lots of microcredit program here. Many of them came to Bangladesh to see, as a young people with lots of enthusiasm, they want to do something similar. They were very impressed. They wanted to come back and do it here. And many of these microcredit you see around you, at one point of time, as a young person, they have gone to Bangladesh to see how it is. How come we cannot do that? Why can't we do that? So they started make a small beginning here. And one of them is here, Suresh, someplace, who is with Grameen Kuta, and Vinata from Grameen Kuta. They came as young people. And many other, Ujjiban, another one. They came to see what it is. And many other, Isaf, and many, right from here. So all over the world, people came in to see and took that idea and initiated the process themselves. Now they became big banks and all over the country, all over this state and so on. Same way we did in Bangladesh. So the idea, simple idea. It doesn't need a big thesis or something. It's an idea which works. Now let me move into another subject of this Grameen Bank. The parents, the 9 million parents that we have, the women that we have, almost all of them never went to school. They're illiterate. We made a decision right from the beginning when we were small. We make sure their children don't repeat the history of their parents. We want to make sure their parents' generation is the last generation, which is the illiterate generation. From then on, every one of them will be literate, will be educated. So we made a big effort on doing that, and we succeeded. 100% of the children of Grameen Bank went to school and then gave them education loan to go to higher education. So became graduates, became doctors, became engineers, because all the money is coming from Grameen Bank as education loan, so nobody stopped. Many have PhDs. But it created a problem for us, which we didn't imagine at that time. They have education, but no jobs. So they go around looking for jobs and very frustrated. Bangladesh doesn't have that many jobs. We are 165 million people. Imagine how many of them are young people. Big chunk of them. 50% of the population of Bangladesh is under the age of 21. Imagine that. So lots of young people. So the frustrated young people come and complain about them. What's about the life? What do they do? There's nothing for them. I listened for a while and then went back with my idea to them. The moment they say we don't have a job, what can we do? I attack them. I say, why are you looking for a job? Who asked you to have a job? Of course, they cannot answer that question. Did your teacher tell you to have a job? Did your books tell you to have a job? They become dumb. They cannot answer. Then I say, forget about jobs. That's a very old-fashioned idea. It should have ended in the last century. But somehow it's still lingering around here. So forget about jobs. Whatever they told you, remove it from your head. You now reverse your idea. You keep telling yourself, I'm not a job seeker, I'm a job creator. If you are a job seeker, you feel small. You are at the mercy of other people. Why should you be at the mercy of anybody in the world? A human being is not at the mercy of anybody else. That's what the human being is all about. Human being is self-contained. Human being has all the powers inside of himself and herself. It doesn't have to be at the mercy of anybody. I said, you feel like a job creator, suddenly you feel tall. You tell your friends, I'm not going to hire you because you're a job creator, see? You have that ability. They cannot figure out. What does it mean? I don't have a job. Now this guy is telling me that I have to create jobs? It's a joke. So I tell them, what's the problem with you? I say, remember how your mother got into Grameen Bank? Because you're a son or a daughter of a Grameen Bank borrower. She was in this village and she was afraid. She never had any income for herself. We brought Grameen Bank to her. It took her a lot of time to have the courage to take a loan, $30 loan, $35 loan. That's the biggest amount she could think of from the bank. And it was such a struggle for her to kind of get that courage to ask for that $35. And she did that. And she took that money. And she started a business. And ever since, your mother took it 20 years, 25 years back. Now she has moved step by step. If your illiterate mother can become an entrepreneur with a $35 loan, what's wrong with you? With all your education, all the knowledge about the world, you can't start a business. You're not as good as your mother, illiterate mother. Something terribly wrong with you. Some of them say, well, we don't have any idea. Your illiterate mother came up with an idea. If you don't have an idea, throw away that education that you've gone through. That's a wastage of time, which crippled you, which took away all the energy, all the creative power you have. We don't need that education. Education is to uplift you. Education is to unleash your energy and creative power, not to depress it. In one generation, we lost everything. Your mother has the creativity, courage, and determination. You lost everything. Your education is the wrong thing. Why don't you go back to your mother now, learn from her all over again, and see what she's doing, how she's doing, and start that business, make it big, because you're an educated person, she's a literate person. If she can bring it to that level of business, you can do it 10 times as big, 50 times as big. Money is not a problem. Grameen Bank is your mother's bank. It has unlimited money. Why should you worry about money? So they were still hesitating whether we should do. The only few came to take loans. So what we did, we created a fund, called it Social Business Fund, and asking them, come up with a business idea and we'll invest in your business. It's not a loan. We'll invest in your business. We become your partner. So if your business fails, it's our business fail. So don't worry about it. We are as much responsible as you are. So we'll not come and grab everything that you got, because we have lost too. You have 10% of the money, you have 90% of the money. So that was the beginning. We called them Nobin Uddokta, a new entrepreneur. In the beginning, only 10, 20 young people will come for a business plan, with the business plan. Now we get 1,000 young people coming with business plan every month. So it's becoming bigger and bigger. By this year, 2017, we think we can get to 2,000 per month. Their number is increasing, but we cannot cope with it because we don't have the capacity right away. So we are building our capacity to handle that. And we have no problem with any one of them. We have now 12,000 young people running their businesses. And every month, we are getting 1,000 more. And maybe 1,200 more, 1,500 more in the future. So we say, we are not job seekers, we are job creators. Entrepreneurship is built into human being. I remind them, I said, look at the history of mankind in this planet. Did they come up with job applications when we were in the caves? When we were going around in one place to another, hunting, gathering? We didn't send job applications. When we were in the caves, we are not sending job application from cave number 5 to cave number 10. Do you have a job for me? We got things done ourselves. This is our history. This is part of our DNA. So why do you forget that? So this is how we have to rediscover our things. So this is an issue now. I raise it everywhere. Whether it makes sense to them or not, I don't know. I said, I put 3 zeros in front of me. That's what moves me. That's the direction I want to go and have mobilize all the forces. Zero poverty, zero number 1. Nobody should be poor, because poverty is not created by poor people. Poverty is created by all the things we have learned. They created the poverty. So there's a lot of unlearning things to do. If you have to fix it, we have to unlearn, throw away a lot of those things, because they created poverty. And the redesigning is needed, like financial institutions. They are the number 1 in the list, which needs to be completely redesigned. Otherwise, world will not change, cannot change. They become the heavy thing. Number two, zero unemployment. Nobody should be unemployed. There's no reason for that. So that's it, number 2. Zero net carbon emission, so that the planet becomes safe. So once we do that, and how do we achieve that? I put 3 particular power behind it to make it happen. Number 1 is young people. That's why I get excited to talk to you as young people. Because you can make it happen by changing your mind. Don't depend on the things that you learn from the book. That's lesson number 1. You have to design your own thing. Imagine, always imagination is the thing, not what you learn, but what you imagine. Your personal imagination, not what somebody else said. Your imagination, what kind of world you want. Define it, design it. If you design it in your mind, you write it down in a piece of paper. This is the kind of world I want. This is my wish. This is my wish list. If you can prepare that wish list, I can guarantee you it will happen. Imagination is so powerful. Get your imaginations to play. Don't accept the way it is. Always design things where it doesn't exist and make it happen. Your mind will make it happen. So the youth power, youth is at the prime of your creative power. If you go away from that, your creative power will be lessened. And if you go into the jobs again, job is a kind of end of creative power because they cut you into a little piece. They don't let you be yourself. So in order to retain yourself, you design your life the way you want. Be an entrepreneur, that's what you are, and make it happen.